Okay, so students have emails, but how in the world are we going to get students to check their email? You may want to send them a flyer. So there are flyers available on the SPS website in multiple languages that tell students how to get their email. But this is a way for you to help talk through students checking their email. It does assume, and I know this is a big assumption, that students are able to have Wi-Fi, log into their computer, open up a web browser, and find their way to seattleschools.org. Those preliminary parts of access, I am still working on creating videos for, so students will be able to do that on their own. So that'll be a separate video of like, welcome to your computer. But let's say students are able to get this far and they go to seattleschools.org. Here's how you talk them through checking their email. First, students need to look at the Students tab in the very upper right-hand corner. Here's where they can check their grades. They can go to Schoology, but for email, they want something called Office 365, right? Just like us. So what's lucky is if they're using a district laptop, they will be able to log in automatically. It will do what it does for us and just load them in. If it doesn't, you'll have to tell them to enter their username plus at seattleschools.org. So for example, if I were a student, it would be 1SG Johnson at seattleschools.org. That's their username, and their password is their directory password, the one that they use for Schoology and the one that they use for the laptop. Once they're here, you're going to tell them to look for Outlook, which is luckily usually for everybody the first one. So then they'll go to Outlook. This is what their interface will look like because they do not have an app on their laptop. So it looks a little different. But here's where you can start to help them navigate that. Explain that if something is in bold from a name, that means that person has sent them a message. To read the message, they need to click on it. Ooh, I don't even really want to read this. I have a feeling it's bad news. Let's read this one instead. Anyway, so you look this, and as you can see, you can say, you know what, maybe your teacher sent you an attachment. So you can click on the attachment to open it up and save it. There's all these basic skills we're going to learn, but if you're just trying to show a student, for example, that there's a Zoom meeting to go to, when they click it, and then you have them scroll down, what you do is you would click the message, and now you should be able to read it at the bottom, okay? And so if you sent an email with a Zoom link, it would be here in the information. Let's see. Just trying to see if something has a link so that we can see. Not really. Let's look at this one. Does this have a link? I think it does. All right. So this is a good example of then the student would have to click on the link and join Zoom. Now, if you're scheduling a meeting in advance, it tells me that in this email, you might want to say, join this Tuesday at 1 p.m. This is where the link will live. You need to come back and check your email when you're ready to get onto Zoom. If students want to cut and paste the link into something else, they can. If they were to click a Zoom link now, I think it might just be like schedule this meeting for later. But for now, I think this is enough that they would know that this is where the link lives. It's from your teacher, whoever they are, and that the link is just something they have to click onto. I hope that helps. Again, just to refresh your memory, it's basically Seattle Public Schools, students, Office 365. They log in with their laptop information, except they have to add at seattleschools.org onto their username. That is the email address that they use. Thanks.